Hi, Glenn here. Welcome to the People's Carpenter. I realise I haven't done much with my hair today. It's a bit of a mess. And I need a haircut. This looks short to most people, but I like to have it shaved on the sides. So anyway, enough about my hair. Do you know what a drafting table is? You may do. Also called a drawing board. Well, was once more commonly called a drawing board, but a drafting table. I bought one of these some time ago, long before we moved to this address, and it's nasty. It's got a horrible top. The frame is grubby, not in very good condition. Grubby. Americans don't say grubby, do they? We say grubby. So that I could make something nice out of it. And let's find out how successful I am. So there's the project that I've just finished, the coffee table. Here's a project that I'm working on a different YouTube channel over at Monster Guitars, which you are always welcome to go and check out. That's why this is a bit of a mess. And one of my dogs is having fun in the sun, which is nice. This is a bit of an eyesore. I bought it to use it as a project, but the risk of getting a flat surface is that you start putting things on it and storing them there when it's really not meant for that. That's an old drafting table. I bought it for the metal frame, which I will clean up. I'll take the top off and clean up the frame, and I'm going to make a new top for it. The current top is this it's nasty particle board of some sort, which I can't ever see myself want to use. Okay, so let's get this thing cleared off. Right. Demonstrate the way that a drafting table works. You probably know this, those of you who know what a drafting table is, but not everyone does. You can set the level, you can set the angle of the table and hold the drawing that you're doing onto it. This one doesn't have a ledge on the edge of it. I think that's something I would change, but I don't really understand. Well, I guess I understand the use of ugly, cheap materials like this if they're going to be looked after. They are functional, I suppose, but no, it's not something I could ever bring myself to make. So there's the mechanism on the underside. Simple but very effective. Now, the tabletop is so warped that it isn't quite working properly. I can see I'm going to have to do some cleaning up of that metal. I'll take to it with a wire brush and some rust killer. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm a bit short on space in my workshop at the moment, so I'm just going to do the disassembly right here. So that's going to be... see, some of this stuff I don't want to take apart because I'd have to break things and I'm not really sure how to assemble some of it. See, these bits of the white frame are held on with things that I would rather not try to dismantle. There's enough wiggle room here. Yes, good. Good. So we've got that, I don't really know what to call it, that metal piece that I've cleaned up hanging from a rafter, just because that seems like a convenient place to apply this rust converter, which I've used in the past. Is very good. Taking the frame apart and just going over it with some white spirits to clean it and to see what the state of it is. The wire brush is just to remove any loose bits of paint. I tried to remove this rubber foot by hand without much luck, so I'm chopping it. Right, hopefully I'll be able to find, I mean, they don't have to be exactly the same, do they, if I'm going to replace all four, so I'll just find something that will do the same job. And will this rivet come out? It doesn't matter if it falls inside, I suppose. Why drill it when you can just bash it, right? There. I suppose I should check that my stash of rivets will actually fit through that hole. Yes, they will. Jolly good. So I'm just testing this piece, which I scuffed and then decided to paint with a primer. And I'll see how this goes. And if this goes well, I'll do the whole frame that way. Whenever you're using aerosol paint, you should really, a dust mask won't do it. You need a proper respirator like this. Okay, I think that's good coverage. I'll leave it there until tomorrow. Safety is really important when using aerosols. Some are more toxic than others, of course. I actually have a new respirator. It's a full mask one, but I don't have the filters for it yet. But that one's not bad. So it's the following day, and what I can see is a sort of crackle effect on some parts of the surface. Now, it's not flaking. I don't know why that's happened. It hasn't happened everywhere. But I'm also not going to lie, I don't hate that. And that's not bare metal shining through, that's primer. So I kind of think that's cool. So if that does happen on the legs, I won't mind. So I've done the painting and now everything is drying, and I've just had a realization. So Montana Black is what I read as the color, and so I thought, it's a little more brown and green than I was expecting, but that's okay, it still looks cool, so I didn't mind. But then I realized that all the colors in this range have that on it. Montana Black must be the... I just thought Montana was the brand, but no, Montana Black is what they're all called. This color is called Industrialor, which is kind of an industrial green, which looks cool. And now I remember that I bought this to paint a guitar with a military green look to it, so I hope I have enough left. While the last of the paint dries, I'll take some dimensions for the tabletop. Now it's not going to matter if the dimensions are not precisely the same as the original, as long as it's still a good working size, which I guess means it's probably going to be very similar to this. Okay, so what do we have there? 105.5 centimeters. Or thereabouts. And just over 75 that way. Right, 105 by 75. I've got an excess of poplar timber because I bought a pile of timber to use to make weatherboards for a garden shed that I made, and I initially got poplar because I knew that poplar was sometimes used to make barn doors and the like. I then realized that actually I should have done more research before making this large purchase. The poplar that's used for exterior applications has been heat treated. Just untreated poplar is not really very durable out in the weather, so I got Japanese cedar and used that. So now I've got this pile of poplar to use, so I'm going to make a poplar tabletop. Now to see if there are any pieces that are not quite as long as the others, all of which are rather long. Perfect. Okay, I've milled up all the pieces that I will need. I milled up a little bit more than I was initially planning on using, and actually more than I am planning on using, because I realized that one or two of them might have some spots where they're a bit too thin, and I've seen that that's the case. So now I'm confident that I do have enough for the pieces that will make up the main top and the pieces that will go on the underside for bracing to keep it nice and flat.
I am a woodworker, fierce and free, no mercy, no plea, bow to my trade. I am a woodworker, the power's mine, carving chaos, driven by design. By design. Splinters pierce my hands, crushed wood obeys commands. Grain follows where I lead, the agony I breed. Midnight breed, dust glare, tools serve. Midnight mood, tools serve.
So I picked this as the underside and made sure that any obvious defects were all on the same side, and little knots like this, which don't appear on the surface but are on the, well, don't appear on the top surface but are on the rear surface. While the table is gluing up and I can't really do anything else with it, I'm just putting some super glue into these to stabilize them. I mean, they're stable enough that there aren't pieces breaking off and falling out, but this is just to make sure. Now, I wasn't worried about the fact that these metal clamps are pressed up directly against the edge of the wood, because I am going to be trimming this to its final dimensions. Okay, now little bits of the colour of the clamp are still on there, as well as some beads of glue. So I'm going to set about giving this a bit of a scrape up now. But other than that, I'm gonna bring this video to an end now, just because I don't like things to be too long. In the next video, I will finish up the top. So I'll shape it to its final dimensions, give it a good clean up and sand, put the bracing pieces on, finish it, and then assemble this thing and see what we've got. Until then.